What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to Sole Vice. Thanks for joining me once again. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Today we're taking a look at the Air Max 95 in the neon colorway. I'm gonna give you an in-depth review on these. I'm gonna let you know exactly what I think about them, and I'm gonna tell you about all the details I think you should know about in order to decide whether or not this is a shoe you wanna cop for yourself. And to go along with that, as always, you're gonna be getting buttery smooth 4K on-feet footage and B-roll. So make sure to hit the thumbs up on the video. It really helps a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hit the notification bell. That way you're notified when I post new videos just like this one. Now I know that I'm a little bit late on the review for these, but this was not an easy pair of shoes for me to get. I tried on release day and I took an L on Sneakers app. I took an L on all the websites. I even drove out to a Finish Line nearby that said that they had my size 12, but by the time that I got there, which was only like 20 minutes, they sold out a size 12. The closest thing they had was a size 14. But thankfully, my wife came through and she just went on StockX when she heard that I took the L, and she got me a pair for my birthday. So I do have them in the collection, and I just could not pass up reviewing these for you. These are insanely good. Now this rendition of the Air Max 95 Neon, from what I'm hearing, is not super close to the OG that dropped in 1995. However, they did give us some OG details, starting off with the packaging. So you get this OG style Air Max 95 box, and you also get the inserts for your arches to go along with that, something they've been doing on Air Max Retros this year, at least for special releases or OG style releases. So not that they're like super close to the OG versions from what I'm hearing. I don't have an original pair, but at least they did try to give us some OG details. Taking a look at the upper here, you've got a mixture of synthetic suede or felt-like material. You've got some mesh as well. Now, I love the way that you've got this gradient of dark gray that kind of just fades up into a lighter gray and kind of just melts over onto the white mesh that's on the top of the shoe. Embroidered into the suede or felt material, you've got the neon yellow Nike swoosh here on the back of the shoe. You've also got neon yellow lace eyelets that are underneath the white mesh that kind of sit on top of a thicker black mesh. And then up toward the top of the tongue, you've got this Air Max logo that, as far as I know, is only used on the Air Max 95, or I should say first used on the Air Max 95. You do have a couple of hits of 3M as well. The first one back here on the heel, and then another one that goes straight down the middle of the tongue. Moving down to the midsole, which is a very interesting piece of the Air Max 95, because not only do you have visible air in the heel, but for the first time you've got visible air in the forefoot as well. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier in the review, not everything on this shoe is super close to the OG, and from what I'm hearing, the air bubbles are actually one of those not so close to the OG details, just because I guess in the older pairs, those air bubbles were a little bit bigger. They actually protruded a little bit out of the midsole itself, which I will admit would be pretty cool, but being that this is my first pair of Air Max 95s, I'm not gonna complain. I'm just happy to have them in the collection. However, Nike did redeem themselves a little bit, because as you can see right there on the outsole, you do have your air pressure specs listed, which on some of the previous versions of the Air Max 95 retros, they have not done that. So they did bring that OG detail back, which I like. I think it does look a little bit bare if you don't have those pressure specs kind of listed there. It looks like there's just kind of like this open space that's not used. So I'm really happy that they went with the Nike Air logo and the PSI specs there. You also, of course, have these huge hits of your neon yellow there in the forefoot. And other than that, it looks like a standard Nike outsole with a waffle print. Now you've got a very loud neon yellow insole done in that kind of like mesh lining that Nike likes to use. They actually still use this lining on a lot of their current running shoes. And I kind of like this material for an insole, to be honest with you. You've got a black Nike Air Max logo on the heel. And then on the underside, it's pretty much blank Nike logo here on the forefoot. And you've got your little section here where if you want to stick those arch pillows on, you can do that. The insole is a pretty thick insole, decent amount of cushion. It doesn't really seem like maybe it's polyurethane, just kind of like a more foamy type version of that, if that makes sense. Now, when it comes to sizing on these, I went true to size and they fit perfect. Like a true one-to-one fit. I honestly feel like these shoes were made for my feet. It's really crazy how well these fit. However, if you're somebody who your true to size on Nike sometimes runs a little bit snug, maybe go a half size up at that point, because if these were any more snug, they probably would be a little bit too snug in my opinion. Now, because of that one-to-one fit and how good the cushioning is on these and the upper materials, these are probably gonna take my top spot for the most comfortable shoe in my collection. If you've spent any time on my channel, you might already know, in my opinion, the Yeezy 700 V1s are the most comfortable shoes that I've ever tried. However, I think these are probably gonna beat those out, or maybe just be tied. So if you're familiar with 700 V1s and how those feel on feet, these are actually really similar to that. But I actually think the upper on these kind of takes the cake for a more comfortable upper, just because it is such a true one-to-one fit, at least on my foot. So as far as comfort goes, these are insanely comfortable. Like, I was super surprised when I put these on my feet at how comfortable they were. So with all of that being said, you absolutely have to have a pair of these in your collection. This is an iconic colorway of an iconic shoe. They're super comfortable, they look great, top release of 2020. I really can't say enough good things about the Air Max 95 Neon. All right, guys, let me know down in the comments, did you end up picking up a pair, or are you going to now that you've watched the review? Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.